Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead. Ball. I was waiting for the very last second so I don't lose minutes. So I don't get cut off again. All right, we are going to give it just a few minutes to let everybody pop on. Okay, I'm just letting people in as they pop up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. The dogs are going to bark because Mike is not home yet. When he does get home, just be prepared for that. Let's see, a couple of things. First thing is thank you to those that did testimonials or that said that they would do one. I really appreciate it. Thank you to those that have been referring people. I've been getting messages saying this person told me about your program, this person, whatever. So I really appreciate it. I am decided to start the next program by people giving me their input. The pre-week, the 2nd, and the true week, the 9th, which means you guys go through till the 9th, till the next session. So push it a little bit further for you guys. You're welcome. What else? Again, if you have not filled out the address form, please make sure you do that. It's in the important messages group. And I'm pretty sure, I think that's it. So I was on the fence about our topic today after DJ Twitch taking his own life today, and I'm sure it was something to do with emotional and everybody's post and all that. But our topic today is emotional eating. So I didn't want to seem cold doing that. So I had another topic, 8 weight loss topics that nobody wants to talk about. So I feel like I'm going to do a little bit of both. So the first thing I want to talk about is things that nobody wants to talk about when you lose weight. First one is all that loose freaking skin. Raise your hand if you started to see that. Yeah, same. I'm actually hoping to have mine removed. I say it every year and I don't do it, but I'm hoping to have mine removed hopefully over the summer if I can take some time off of work, but we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, that is one thing we cannot avoid. And you cannot tighten skin. I don't want anybody to make you think you can. Don't go to the doctor that says, oh, I can rub that thing on your stomach and the heat's going to make your skin get tighter. It's all bullshit. It's not real. There's no way to take this skin that is hanging and make it tighter. It doesn't happen. You can give the effects of your skin, not so much cellulite. You can give the effects of your skin, not crepey, but skin that hangs will always hang unless you have it surgically removed. You know, it's like, you got to decide, do you want to be overweight or do you want to lose skin? I've found ways over the years to hide it. People always say to me, well, you don't even have loose skin. How did you lose all the weight? I'm like, it's there. You just don't see it. And it annoys me just like it annoys everybody else. When you hang, when you bend over, you can see it. Like there's just things, you know, you have this sagging skin. But unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. And as we age, our skin gets looser as well. So now here we are, older, losing weight. I don't have as much as I would if I started losing the weight in my 40s, because I started losing the weight in my 30s, 20s, and I exercised the entire time. So I don't have as much excess. But it also has to do with your age, your genes, your family's genes. If they're prone to having loose skin, you're going to have that same loose skin. Lifting weights will help fill in with muscle, but there's still going to be loose skin. Especially, you can't lift weights in your stomach, right? So if you have that apron from losing weight, the knife is the only thing that's going to take that away. You can't do enough abs. Your abs don't go there. Abs are underneath your core is underneath that skin. So a lot of people I know are like, well, I'm going to go talk to a plastic surgeon and And I always tell everybody, don't do anything until you lose the weight and maintain the weight for a year. If you have liposuction to finish up the end of it and then you gain weight back, your fat goes to another area. So you don't want to do that. So you want to lose the weight, wait a year, and then once you've maintained it for an entire year, then you can think about removing that extra skin. We still see ourselves in our old body. How many of you do that? Same. I walk downstairs every Friday and Saturday night. Do I look fat? Does this make me look fat? Mike's like, how could you look fat? And it's just in my head. There's things I don't wear, and I'll look at people that wear it and I'll say, God, she's so lucky she could wear that. And then I'll say it out loud and someone will be like, you can wear it. You know, and I don't see myself as that person. It's always going to be that way. Unfortunately, it's not the mirror, it's our mindset. And people can tell you till they're blue in the face how small you look or how thin you got, and you still are not going to see it. And that's where we have to reprogram ourselves and start seeing or remind ourselves, oh, wow, I did used to wear a size 18-20 and I just bought a size 4 jeans. I must be smaller. I don't need to get in those jeans anymore, those big, you know, plus size jeans, or shop at Lane Bryant anymore. I don't even know if Lane Bryant's around anymore. But my sister and I remember we used to shop at Lane Bryant with my mom. And Forenza. Does anybody remember Forenza? Those big sweatshirts that everybody wore that covered them up? Yeah, with leggings, because that was the easiest thing to get into when you're overweight. Do you remember those, Vincent? Leggings? Okay. So developing a new image, start looking at yourself the way you are. Easier said than done, but that's another thing that weight loss topics that nobody wants to talk about. We're not used to receiving compliments from friends and family, coworkers. And you need to learn how to just say thank you. Oh, I have 15 more to go. Oh, it's taken me 6 months, but I still have 8 more pounds. Oh, and we forget to say thank you. Appreciate the compliments. Don't let them go to your head, because on the flip side, oh, 17 people said I look great today. I can eat this piece of cake. I'll take it right back up. It's not a big deal. I won't track it. But learn to accept those compliments, because after a while they do die down. It's usually something that happens when you first lose weight. How'd you do that? What did you do? And then you've lost the weight for a year and you're like, wow, I lost another 15 pounds, but nobody even noticed. Because it's not new to them anymore. It's not new to you anymore. So really appreciate the compliments while they are. Some people think they're going to lose all this weight and life is going to change. Don't do this to make your life change. Do this to feel better about yourself. You're not losing weight to get that promotion. You're not losing weight because you think if you lose weight, you're going to land that new job. You're not losing weight because you feel like you're going to meet your match and get married. That's where disappointment comes in, because life doesn't really change that much when we lose weight. We feel good. Our confidence is better. But remember, you change all those things, not the way you look. But yeah, definitely go with the confidence. It may not feel real to you. And that goes along with seeing yourself differently in the mirror. When you have those thoughts, think about how you felt when you were that overweight person, when you first started this journey. And then you'd be like, wow, this really is real. I really did do this. I really did put in all that freaking work. And now I'm not going backwards. I say that all the time. People are like, you can eat whatever you want. Why do you have that? I'm like, because I don't want to be that again. I don't want to go backwards. And you guys will start getting that mentality also. You don't realize that you might have conflict with your significant other. I hate to say this, but I would say out of 100 clients, a handful got divorced after losing all their weight. Their hobbies changed. The things they do together changed. They grew apart because now they're no longer eating all the crap with their partner. Now they want to go for hikes and walks, and that partner doesn't want to do that. When you were overweight, sometimes you just want to stay inside. Now you want to get out. You want to do things. You feel good. You have more energy, right? It goes along with growing apart, but unfortunately, I've seen it, and it's so sad. And sometimes I'll say, I can guarantee you when she gets to her goal weight, she's going to get a divorce, and it happens. And it's just so sad to me, but it's also like, maybe you weren't meant for that person at that time. You were a different person. Another thing I notice also when people lose weight when they're younger, I don't know who's on here right now, but when you're younger, is they get pregnant right away. And then they have to start all over again, which is a good thing, because that means their partner's liking their body and they're having lots of sex and they're getting pregnant. People don't realize you are still going to have to work hard when you lose the weight. It is harder to maintain than it is to lose. That's why when people go on maintenance, I give them a 5-pound recall. You weigh in and you're over 5 pounds, you're back in the program. 5 pounds is so easy to gain. Has anybody gone up at least 2 to 3 pounds throughout this program and realized, shit, I need to get right back into it? 5 pounds is for me too. Like if I see the scale go up 5 pounds, I'm like, oh shit, I need to rail it in. Like mine more, it used to be pounds, mine more so when my body fat goes over 19%, I'm like, oh my God. Like, and then I bring it back down. I try to get it back down to like 17 to 18, but that's my leeway. You guys all have 5 pounds. And it creeps up quick, especially when you're not in the program, you're on maintenance. Because life is better now. I don't have to account to Shannon. I don't have to weigh in every week. I only have to weigh in once a month, because that's what maintenance is. You weigh in once a month. I feel like Tammy, who's been on maintenance for a while, she's kicking ass. She stays in the group. She still posts. She has not left the Shred Tribe. She's been on maintenance for a year and she is kicking ass. She hasn't lost weight. She hasn't gained weight, but she has gained muscle. She looks phenomenal. I'll try and find a picture of her. Remember, weight loss, a lot of it is psychological afterwards. Like you've done the physical part. Now it's more about the mental part of it, staying in the game, appreciating where you were and how far you've come. And I always like to add this, paying it forward. You might not, you don't have to say, oh, here's my coach and she's great and this is her number and this is her email. All you have to say is, oh, this is what I did. It might not work for you, but whatever. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to go on to my next topic, which is emotional eating. Okay, so how many of you just feel like you've ever, it doesn't have to be now, but ever in your life, turned to food for comfort when you were sad, when you were happy, when life was great, when life was down? When someone pissed you off, when someone made you happy, you turn to food. Was your stomach growling when you turned to that food? No. Was your stomach empty when you were turning to that food? Probably not. It was probably an instantaneous response, like when they leave the good food up at the front of the grocery store. You know, they have the cupcakes and the chips and all that stuff, and it's like impulse. It's pretty much the same thing with emotional eating. So there's a big difference between emotional eating and hunger eating. And a lot of us don't realize those differences. The number one difference is your stomach is not growling. It is natural when we are hungry for our stomachs to growl or to have that emptiness in it, knowing that you haven't had anything to eat yet. And that's where you have to listen to your body. If you're just going in and impulse eating, then think back, is my stomach growling? When was the last time I ate? We feel a sense of urgency with emotional eating. Like you have to have it. I'm pulling into that Taco Bell. She pissed me off. I'm going to have tacos. I don't know. Do they make Choco tacos anymore? Remember those ice cream tacos? Nobody remembers those? Oh my God, those were so good. You can like eat them before anybody even knew you had it. I was a very much closet eater at one time. Okay. Emotional hunger comes on strong and demands instant satisfaction and gratification. Physical hunger is more gradual, and the need isn't as desired. So like unless you skipped your lunch, obviously then you're going to be starving and you want to eat right away. But there's a big difference between the two. Depending on what we crave, you'll know if you're hungry or not. Usually when we crave, if someone says, here, eat these vegetables and this chicken breast, you're gonna be like, I don't want that. I want mac and cheese. That's emotional. If you're starving and you're hungry and someone says, oh my God, I have chicken breast and I have sweet potatoes, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I'll eat that. Because you're hungry. So we choose different foods. We crave different foods when we're emotionally eating or when we are hunger eating. Usually when you're emotionally eating, it's something fatty, it's something sugary, or something salty. And in your mind, you feel like nothing else is going to hit this spot. But if you're really hungry, you'll eat whatever's there. If someone hands you that chicken. We eat without awareness. How many of you have like downed a bag of potato chips? I would used to do that with Oreos. Before I was done, I had a whole row of Oreos I had ate or eaten. And I was like, holy crap. Like, it's not in moderation when we emotionally eat. Ever. It's like, oh, I'm having a really bad day. Let me have one Oreo. That's going to satisfy my brain. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Physical hunger, here comes that word. You're more satiated. Do you guys remember I couldn't say the word last week? My sister sent me the pronunciations via text. And I practiced before this meeting today. We are more satiated and our stomach is full when we eat for our hunger, not for emotional. At least I'm honest. I literally sat here practicing that word. Hunger comes from the brain, not your belly. And we talked about that. If you're sending a message through your stomach, obviously it's your hunger. We talked about that already. After you emotionally eat, you feel guilty, you feel regret. Whoever ate a chicken breast and sweet potato was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just ate that. What was I doing? No one. And plus you feel full and you feel good. But think about Christmas coming up. Think about Thanksgiving that just passed. If you had overindulged after dinner, you would have been like, oh my God, I wish I didn't eat that apple pie. You weren't hungry. It was just emotional because everybody was having a great time. I'm going to eat this. It was a spur of the moment. Someone brought out great apple pie and vanilla ice cream. And afterwards you're like, shit, I shouldn't have had that whole apple pie and the vanilla ice cream. Feeling negative after you eat something is usually a huge indicator of emotionally eating. You're not mindful about it. You didn't track it. I have one person in the group, when she doesn't eat right for the weekend or something, she'll message me like, all right, I totally messed up this weekend. I'm back on it. I had this happen. And, and it's almost like she's repenting her sins. I had a fight with my husband and he pissed me off and I went and had 3 glasses of wine. And when I was at the bar, I had nachos, but I'm back. I'm like, okay, can't go backwards. That's emotional eating. That's emotional drinking. That's a different group on Wednesday nights. Cheryl, you didn't laugh at me, so I know you're not listening. I said something about the wine, and I said, that's not this group. It's different group on Wednesday night. I knew she would laugh after I said it. All right. After you eat, you might feel lonely. Like it didn't comfort you at all when it's emotional food too. You might think it will. And then I already talked about this. Social situations, the people you're with, that's emotional also. You're having a great time. You have that shot with that person, or, everybody's eating dessert. They brought it to the table. I'm going to do that too. Just because you're not sad doesn't make it emotional, not emotional. And I've talked about this. My sister and I, we were in chorus in grade school, and it was such a great event. Afterwards, we would go to Friendly's. After every event, have whatever you guys want. You did great for your show today. It's a great day. All right, I'm going to get the Jim Dandy. And it's like this freaking big. We eat the whole thing. Bonnie, do you remember that? Bonnie was in grade school with my sister. That's emotional eating. It's spontaneous. You're doing it because you're happy, but it's still emotional. Just because you're not crying doesn't mean it's not emotional, right? An emotion is happy, sad, mad. And the next thing I'm going to say goes along with what we talked about, self-sabotage. Start figuring out what triggers you to emotionally eat. A tough day at work. You're emotionally happy because you ran a half a marathon, so you're going to have those Krispy Kremes. That's a trigger. Every time you do a race, it triggers you to eat like shit. That was me. Every time I would do a half marathon, before the half marathon, I would allow myself, and most of the half marathons I've done were at Disney, and there's a Krispy Kreme up there. And I would, before I even got there, and usually it was my mom that was with me driving up there, I'd be like, okay, first thing we're gonna do is go to Krispy Kreme, and I'm gonna get 6 donuts, and I'm gonna eat those before the half marathon. Dude, I am not burning off 6 Krispy Kremes in a half marathon. That's going to take me like 4 halves or 2 wholes. But in my mind, I was like, I'm going to do good. I'm going to do this race. I'm going to have this. And we're going to go to Corrales for dinner. And it doesn't work like that. Even that is emotional eating. It's also rewarding myself, which you should not do. Never reward yourself for good things or bad things. But totally I recognize that was a trigger. And the last half marathon I did was the Palm Beach half, and there's no Krispy Kremes down here either. But I didn't allow myself to overindulge. I ate normal, but bumped up my better carbs prior to the race, like my sweet potatoes, and I had green beans, I think, and I don't remember what else. But that was a trigger for me, those half marathons. And I didn't looking back on, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I probably still would do it today. Shh, don't say that. Okay, so things to do to bypass the refrigerator, bypass the 7-Eleven. If you're driving in your car and someone just pissed you off, or you're driving in your car and you heard great news, or you're driving in your car and you remember the guy that gave you that compliment about how great you look, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna slide in and get a Dairy Queen. Pick up the phone and call someone. Don't text because you're driving, remember? Pick up the phone, call someone. Call them on, don't pick up the phone either. Call on your Bluetooth. Hopefully everybody has Bluetooth on their phone. Chat with your friend and schedule something. Hey, what are you doing right now? You want to go for a walk? We can go on virtual walks. We used to do virtual walks all the time during COVID. I don't know if anybody's on here when I was doing them. Luann, I think Luann was on here when we did COVID walks. And I didn't know Cheryl back then because I was at the Orange Theory World Palm. Do something with your pet. Having a pet around will help you take your mind off of anything that's emotional. If you're sad, your pet will make you happy. This is kind of silly, but they say it works. Dance around the house, put music on loud. It'll change your mood and it will make you not go towards the refrigerator. The rubber band doesn't really work when you're emotionally eating because you'll be like, I'm not going to pull the freaking rubber band. You have that option, right? I already said, take a walk around your neighborhood. Hot tea is like the answer to almost everything. Hot green tea will curb your appetite. It's warm, so it's comfort. It will mentally comfort you because of the warmth. And then when you drink hot tea, it increases your metabolism. And it keeps you warm. I try to drink a cup of tea, green tea, every day at Orange Theory. I'm freezing for one thing, but it does help. And it has more, tea has more caffeine than coffee, just so you guys know. Some teas, most teas, green teas for sure. Pull out a book that you've been wanting to read. Pull up a podcast that you want to read. Those will change your moods. If you're sad, don't pull out a sad book. That just makes sense. Don't put on Dateline. Like I listen to Dateline all day, every day in my car. I think everybody's a murderer because of my Datelines. When you feel that craving coming on, press pause in your head. I'm having a shitty day. I really want that glass of wine. Wait a minute. What am I doing? Why am I saying this? You know, what happened today? Talk yourself out of it. Pause for a second before you grab the glass of wine, before you grab the cupcake. Be mindful. Pressing pause reminds you that your power of yourself can overcome the urges that you have. And being in a program like this, it already shows you're committed. It already shows that you want to make a change. So when you have those urges, remind yourself. Someone said WWSD instead of what would Jesus do? What would Shannon do? Someone sent that to me. They said, I'm at a thing and I'm really stressing out. And I reminded myself, WWSD. And I was like, what is that? And she said, what would Shannon do? And I was like, oh, she's like, I say that to myself all the time. It's like her mantra when she's not doing something that she should be doing or vice versa, whatever. Do you feel like you emotionally, I just have a question. We're almost done with the meeting, but do you feel like you emotionally eat because more times because you're sad? Raise your hand. More times because you're happy? Pretty much not. More times because you're pissed off at someone. I do that. And I talk to myself like, he pissed me off. I'm going to eat those Oreos. Like, it's going to hurt him. That person, I say him like it's Mike, but that person didn't do anything. You're hurting yourself. So every time you have that urge, remember to press pause. And I got through the meeting without getting cut off. Yay. A lot of people are not on tonight because a lot of people have those Christmas parties and Christmas shows at school. A bunch of people texted me, their teachers. It is being recorded. I checked like 4 times to make sure it said recording at the top corner. We are having our meeting on Tuesday again, on Wednesday again. So that won't change, even though it's the week of Christmas. Nothing changes. And I think that's pretty much it. Does anybody have anything they want to add? All right, crickets, love it. Okay, I hope you guys all have an amazing night. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Remember, always be badass. Oh, and thank you to everybody that reached out to me when I was like MIA. I wasn't sick. I just had some medical procedures done and was not feeling myself. So I guess I wasn't as engaged, but I apologize to you guys. But thank you all for reaching out to me. And I hope you guys all have an amazing night, amazing week. And I will see you guys next Wednesday and on the app. Bye, everyone.